Hello, everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horn, and I'm bringing you a video tonight titled Sexually Attractive Men and Conditional Sex. But before we go any further, always know that my videos in the dating space, they're inspired by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. And to everyone who ordered over the weekend or earlier this week, everybody's books have shipped out. Once again, you all have ordered everything I have. And if you want to order copies, I have more copies. I have a few left. Go ahead and place your orders. And thank you all so much for your orders and donations and your correspondence and interaction with me. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to help me to move up the algorithm and continue to help me to grow the movement. But let's get right to it. Sexually attractive men. That's what we're talking about tonight. And conditional sex. Sexually attractive men and conditional sex. There's two types of conditional sex when it comes to women. The first type is the man that she has very little attraction for, but he has some things going for himself, and she'll string this guy along, and the conditions that she's going to introduce are just a reflection of her lack of attraction for this guy. She's going to make the guy wait, and that guy's going to stick around because he doesn't have any better options than this beautiful woman that's stringing him along and giving him these conditions. And ultimately, that'll be the man that she discards when she gets what she really wants from him. And that is, one type of conditional sex with a more inferior man. But tonight, the focus is on the sexually attractive man and how women will try to introduce last-minute conditions before you two have sex. And this is a very common thing. And sometimes you'll meet a woman, you'll be out or app or whatever the case is, and it's already established, like she has a high level of sexual attraction and desire for you. So, you all will get to a place where you're alone, and you all both know that, sex is the reason that you all are coming together. And what happens sometimes is that a woman will get in your space and she will begin to see things that she did not anticipate that represent a magnitude of man that you are. She initially saw you as someone who may be, intelligent, very sexually attractive. That's why she wants to be alone with you. And she calls you, she's trying to set up a date, or she's very responsive when you call her, and she doesn't mind being alone with you. So this is a woman that knows she wants to have sex with you. But what happens and where the conditions are introduced is that she'll get around you, and very quickly she'll begin to see things that put you in the light of someone that she wants to have a long-term relationship with. And then she'll flip the script. She'll introduce conditions. It may be how nice your place is. It might be some attractive qualities that she missed when you two initially met. But something about you makes you an extreme departure from the guys that she normally deals with. And she immediately switches programming. She goes from, I'm going to have sex with this guy. I'm ready to have sex with this guy. I wore my outfit over here to have sex with this guy. She goes from that, the intention to have sex with you as soon as she meets you, or as soon as you are in a alone position. She goes from that to, I see long-term potential with this guy. This guy has no holes in his game. He's even more attractive than what I initially thought he was. And he has so many things going for him that he is a departure from the guy that I normally meet. And at that point, she will flip the script. And she'll begin to say things that let you know that her mind is going in a different place than where she initially was when she came over. She may find out you don't have any children. She may find out about your profession and the different things that you have going for yourself. She might see how meticulously decorated and how nice of a place that you have. Something took her mind from sex to long-term relationship and commitment. And honestly, this is a compliment. This is actually a compliment from the woman when she introduces conditions, because she sees you as the optimal man, and she doesn't know what to do not to lose you. So the condition that she'll introduce is something in line with a long-term relationship. You all are getting heavy, you're getting hot, the attraction is there, you all might be tangled up a little bit, and she pulls herself back because she doesn't want you to see her in the vein of someone that you just have sex with and leave. So she'll say, things like, "Can you see yourself in a long-term relationship with me? Really, would you like to be in a relationship with me?" She's so captivated by how put together that you were and that you are in her presence that her mind is thinking the safety and the security and the longevity of being with you as a quality man. And it's a shift that happens very quickly, but it's a compliment because she's telling you that you are a departure from the men that she normally encounters, and that's why she introduces the conditions. And she'll introduce this, and there's only one thing that you can do in this moment, is you have to tell her the truth. You have to tell her the truth because only weak men will do anything for that pootie. Like I've said in some of my previous videos, only weak men will do anything for that pootie. Only weak men with no options, who are not sexually attractive, balanced, optimal men. Only those men will tell a woman what she wants to hear in that moment in order to get what they want. Only weak men would do that because you're engaging in manipulation, and manipulation always has unpredictable, low quality outcomes. That's what comes with manipulating women. And she's attempting to manipulate you by trying to, get some sort of commitment from you before the sex happens. So you have these two manipulative people coming together, and there's nothing but a low quality explosion that oftentimes permanently alters your quality of life for the worse. So you don't want to lie to the woman in this moment when she's introducing these conditions. So you tell her straight up, sex is an equal exchange. I'm not going to allow you to make sex this big catalyst for a long-term relationship that is really not. You have to reset the conditions right there. You have to eradicate and remove the conditions and the power that she thinks that her vagina has over you. You have to eradicate that, and you have to reset it immediately in that moment. But through honesty. Honesty is the highest level of game. Honesty is the highest level of mouthpiece. Because it's coming from the highest level man that's not afraid to lose any woman. That's why it's the highest level of mouthpiece and game. It's honesty. So you tell her straight up, a relationship is something that we're going to have to develop into. Sex is just a part of what I like with the experience that I'm having with the woman that I want to be around. Sex is not this thing to be leveraged. Sex is not something to be used to manipulate men into a place where you want them to be. This is how I talk to women when this happens, because this does happen from time to time. A lot of times you'll just have women who are just that attracted to you, especially on a late night. You all go back to her place, your place, like everyone knows what it is, and it just happens that way. But then other times, that woman will introduce those conditions. And then that's when you have to reset the parameters of the interaction to equality, meaning that you have nothing more valuable than what I have. And that's how I talk to women. Tell them straight up. That doesn't work over here. That only works on low quality men who don't have options. That's what I tell women. And a lot of times, we'll engage in conversation and they'll ask me about my previous relationships. And I let them know that every woman that I've considered seriously with dating or marriage, we got to it immediately as soon as we met. No delays, no nothing. Meaning that the qualities and the connections had to be recognized and developed after that act took place over time. And that's what I tell women, because I'm not interested in manipulating her. I'm not interested in running game or playing with her. I'm an elevated, desirable, sexually attractive and desirable man, and I let the woman know that. So at that point, she has a decision to make. She understands that her manipulation attempt will not work on you, and she has to stare at herself and ask herself the question, does she want the opportunity to continue to remain in your space? past that particular encounter that you all are having right there. That's when she has to have that conversation within herself. And when she puts that resistance up, and she puts those parameters in place, you just want to make sure you're talking to her, but give her some distance. When she tries to put the conditions in there, give her some physical and some literal distance to let her know that you're not thirsty for that. You value yourself enough and you're self-aware enough to only deal with women who are coming at you exactly the way that you're coming at them. And if you desire them sexually in that moment and you're not introducing conditions, then that woman has no right to introduce conditions in that moment either. And if she does, then it's a mismatch. I mean, she has every right. I mean, she can, but it's just not going to fly if you're balanced and you really value yourself. It's just not going to fly. And that's what she has to understand in that moment. So then sex has to be her idea. And a lot of times she desires you even more sexually than when she initially entered your space, because men are afraid to talk to her that way. Men will go into that clutch moment and do anything to get that poopy, anything. And she sees that you've created distance and that you're talking to her in straight lines and you're letting her know that only your qualities are going to get me into a relationship, and that's going to be based on a connection that we have over time, and that I'm not going to make you any promises. She knows in that moment that you're not afraid to lose her, and that turns her on. That lets her know she's in the space of a quality man, an elevated departure of a man that she normally deals with. But she introduces these conditions because you are a representation of familiar disappointment. You are a representation of familiar disappointment for this woman because she hasn't met many men like you. But when she's gotten into the space of these men, she has been unable to keep them, meaning she did have sex with some of these men as soon as they met, but it wasn't the sexual interaction that she had that made the man not want to be there. It was a lack of her development of her qualities that made the man not want to be there, and she doesn't understand that. And that's why you have to let her know it's not your vagina that's going to move me, that's going to make me want to get into a relationship with you. It's your qualities and the connection that we have over time. And at that point, you put her mind at ease because you're removing the pain, because you're not selling her a dream. And you're putting a realistic perspective in front of her face that she can't manipulate you through vagina. She can only experience you and offer her qualities and an experience to you. And once she knows that her manipulation is not going to work on you and that you truly understand all sides of women, so there's no point in her selling a side of herself that she's pure and she makes men wait. Once she knows that you see through her, then the only thing that's left for her to do is to make a decision in that moment. And a lot of times, because you were honest with her and she felt that you value yourself and you were unafraid to lose her, then she has to, she gets to a place where she feels safe to explore you sexually like she really wants to, without the commitment. But she's looking forward to seeing where things can go because you're such a high quality man. And maybe this time she won't lose you. And she knows that if she walks away without having that physical interaction with you, when that's something that you both knew that you were coming together for, she's running the risk of losing you. And so a lot of times, she'll get out of her own way in that moment. And then, she will undress herself, meaning that at that point, you have to make it abundantly clear that this decision is on her. You stated your proclamation. You stated exactly where you're coming from. You didn't tell her any lies. You didn't give her any fantasies. You didn't sell her a dream. You told her exactly what it takes to make it her way into your space and the capacity that she wants to be there. And manipulation is not a part of that equation. And now she has a full understanding of what it takes to get into your space. And then she can go into that mode of being sexual with you. And this happens a lot. Maybe some of you have never experienced this before, but this happens a lot when you're a top tier man. This happens a whole lot when you're a top tier man because women are caught up in your rapture. They're going to a place internally and spiritually that they've never been before when they're in your presence. They rarely get into the presence of the elevated man. And so their mind starts going in 50 different directions. And you just have to settle her mind by telling her the truth and giving her the space, the literal and figurative space to make a decision if she wants to go through with it. Understanding that only a healthy walk is going to take us to our destination. It's going to take us to the desired outcome that internally that you want. Only a healthy walk, nothing fast, nothing coerced, no manipulation. Only a healthy walk is going to take us to that outcome that you want. Meaning the woman that's in your space, that she wants. And you have to just make that clear and let her make the decision. But the last thing that I'll say is that you're only going to get with this woman maybe once or twice. I promise you that. I mean, 3 times if you're lucky. You'll probably never see her again. You'll probably never hear from her again. Because when she gets in the space of the elevated and sexually desirable man, the quintessential man that's a representation of everything that she really wants, she doesn't understand how real it is until she's in the space of it. She could have called herself letting some inferior men go and trying some things out and trying to work towards some things, and it doesn't work out. She's been in the space of inferior men who do not know themselves, men who do not value themselves, and men who value her above himself. That's her comfort level. That's what she's been in the space of. She thinks she wants something different until she encounters it. And when she encounters it, it's intimidating, it's scary because she no longer has control. These type of women, these manipulative type of women, they thrive on control. They thrive on control because they haven't developed their qualities that they can consistently get the outcomes that they want. So they try their best to control the situation to get the outcome that they want. That's why she introduced the conditions. So when she gets in the space of the elevated man, the quintessential man that's hitting on all cylinders and hitting on more cylinders than she realized when she finally gets in your space. You overwhelm her. When she gets in that space, she's uncomfortable because she thought she was ready to be in the space of a man like you. And when she got in your space and you elevated her mind by telling her that manipulation doesn't work on quality men, her mind is fried, man. She doesn't hear men talk this way. She doesn't encounter men who value themselves. So she gets in your space and she thought she was ready for it. And you immediately bring the mirror back to her and show her how much work she actually has to do. And that's a scary thing for a woman who's gone from bad situation to bad situation, quality man squandered in her life, dealing with lower tier men. That's her comfort level. That's her comfort zone. Or else she would have presented herself differently to you, and she would have trusted her qualities versus the manipulation of trying to corner you into an outcome that she hasn't prepared for. And she knows she's not prepared for it. And so a lot of times they'll get intimidated. No matter how good the physical interaction is, I mean, you can take her to the mountaintop, man. You know you did your thing. But when she's alone with herself, she has to stare at the gravity of man that you are. She asked for you. She prayed for you. But when she actually got it in your presence, then she realized how much of a departure you are from the man that she normally deals with. And that's scary and that's intimidating because she doesn't have control in that situation. She can only come under your covering, your philosophy, your program, as they say it on YouTube. She has to leave her comfort zone and come under you as a quality man and shape up and continuously grow in order to stay there. But that's intimidating. So she finds out that the men that she thought she was better than, the men that she thought that she had grown and evolved past, are actually her match. And they're her match because she's so uncomfortable in your space. And that's a realization that you have to contend with. You know, when she's driving home or she steps away from you, she has to process it all. And a lot of times that realization is that she just isn't ready for what she thought she was. And it's going to be too much work to be in your space. So even though you're the quintessential man that had her captivated and intrigued, and she did offer herself to you once you work past the BS and the manipulation, you're still a representation of something that's out of her league, and she knows it. And you could have been the man that was the catalyst to help her to develop her qualities and become the quality woman that could pair herself with the quality man. Her level of discomfort, if she had the right awareness, she would understand that being uncomfortable means that you're about to go into a next level of increase. You are the next level of increase. And that's why I'm saying you're only going to have maybe one or two encounters. Most of the time it's just one time because she has to stare at the gravity and reality. She's not ready for a man like you. She thought she was, but she's just not when she has to get in the presence of the man. And how you articulate yourself, your energy, the fact that you're unafraid to lose her, the fact that you value yourself above anything. You're centered. Women would say, oh my goodness, you're so self-aware. And they just have this look on their face like, where the hell did you come from? You, as an elevated man, you make women uncomfortable. And that's just something that you have to accept. But the right woman, even if you have to go through these progressions with her, the right woman will recognize that this is a departure from what she's used to, and that this is an opportunity to grow into the woman that she wants to become through submitting to the elevated man and coming under his covering, his teaching, his thought process, his philosophies. The right woman is going to do that. The right woman is seeking, and you are a representation of the answers that she's been seeking. And she's going to recognize that. So you can't feel any kind of way. I mean, your superpower has to be indifference as a sexually attractive man because you're clicking on all cylinders. You have to be indifferent because a lot of women, they cannot remain in your space. You make them too uncomfortable. You're too elevated. The air is too hard to breathe in your presence. And that's what comes with it. Reference my video, Sexually Attractive Men Go Through Healthy Droughts. This is a real thing, but this is a manifestation like this. These prerequisites they introduce at the last second. You know, these conditions. They're so captivating, they're so caught up, they want you to be their man. But they just can't do it the way that they traditionally do it. And if they had any sense, they would realize that their manipulation and conditions has only gotten them unfavorable outcomes. And that when she did have high quality men, that all of those guys disappeared because of her qualities. Meaning her vagina did nothing. The things she's trying to leverage with you did nothing for the previous quality men in her space. If she had any sense, she would realize that it's not going to do anything to you either. So the woman in your presence is either going to elevate or she's just going to be fearful and she will eradicate herself from your space. She'll do it herself. You won't have to say a word. Your energy and your aura keeps your world balanced with women. Always. Meaning that your energy and aura does the work for you. Women know exactly who you are. And if they're not comfortable in your space, then it's only perfect. It's perfect and it's poetic that you all part ways. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach, bringing you a video tonight titled Sexually Attractive Men and Conditional Sex. It's been brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to help me to grow the movement. And thank you to everyone who's been supporting me, ordering my books, donations, comments. It means a lot. Thank you all so much. And if this video has been of value to you tonight, Don't forget to drop something in my donation information. If your thought process have been elevated, if this is a message that is a departure from what you normally hear and what you encounter, show some love. Drop something in my PayPal or my Cash App. That's in my video description. Your donations do help me tremendously. Also, if you're in need of coaching, if you know that someone like me, Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach, can take you to the optimal outcomes in the dating space, email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space. I will assess it, and I will get to you with some answers as soon as I call you, and we'll start the coaching immediately. I've enjoyed spending some time with you tonight, and please just remember, if you're a captivating man, if you've really worked on yourself, some women are just going to be uncomfortable. They're going to throw some Hail Marys at the last second when you all are about to get physical. They want the promise of the condition without the preparation and doing the work to get the outcomes that they want with a man like you, the man that you represent. So just peep it, talk to them in straight lines, tell them the truth, and let them make the decision. I'll see you soon.